Hello, my name is Megan, and today I, along with Amy and Tatiana, will be presenting on color blindness. So what is color blindness and what does it mean to be colorblind? Being colorblind means that you will be unable to distinguish certain colors from other colors, such as shades and hues, due to abnormal photopigments, which are color-detecting molecules in cone cells. Red-green color blindness is the most common of the three, usually caused by defects in the red cone, which is known as proton, or the green cone, which is known as deuteron. Within red-green color blindness, there are different types of diseases. Protonomaly is where the red cone is affected, causing the colors red, orange, and yellow to appear greener and not as bright. This is X-linked, inherited, and 1% of males are affected. Protanopia is where there are no working red cones and shades of yellow, orange, and green appear yellow. It is X-linked, inherited, with 1% of males affected as well. Deuteronomy is where the green cone is affected, causing yellow and green to appear redder, and distinguishing violet from blue is extremely difficult. This is also X-linked, inherited, and 5% of males are affected. This is the most common of all. Deuteranopia is where there are no working green cones, causing the color red to be seen as brownish yellow and green as the color beige. It is also X-linked, inherited, and 1% of males are affected.
Blue-yellow color blindness is the next of color blindness. It is caused by an absence or limited function of the blue cone, also known as triton. Blue-yellow color blindness has two types of diseases, tritonopia and tritonopia. Tritonopia is where there is a lack of blue cone cells, causing the color blue to appear as green and yellow to appear as violet or light gray. It is also rare and it is autosomal recessive inherited, affecting males and females equally. Tritonopia is where the blue cone is functionally limited, causing the color blue to appear greener and difficulties in distinguishing the colors yellow and red from pink. It is a rare disease and autosomal dominant, inherited, affecting males and females equally. The final type of color blindness is the complete absence of color, also known as monochromacy, and is the rarest out of red-blue and blue-yellow color blindness. There are two types of monochromacy, cone monochromacy and rod monochromacy, or also known as achromatopsia. Cone monochromacy is the failure of 2 out of 3 cone cell pigments, the red cone, the blue cone, and the green cone. This disease, people have trouble distinguishing colors because the brain needs all 3 cones to compare signals and process colors. This disease is also an autosomal recessively inherited disease. Rod monochromacy is the most severe form of monochromacy and any other form of color blindness disease. None of the cone cells have functional photopigments, and humans with this disease see in colors black, white, and gray. This disease is also autosomal recessively inherited.
And now we'll be talking about how genes are inherited. One copy of each chromosome is passed by a parent at conception through egg and sperm. The X and Y chromosomes, known as sex chromosomes, determine whether a person is born female, which have 2 X's, or male, which have 1 X and 1 Y. In X-linked inheritance, mother carries the mutated color blindness gene on one of her X chromosomes, which will be passed to her children. There is a 50 out of 50 chance of passing mutated genes. Because females have 2 X chromosomes, the effect of carrying the mutated gene on one chromosome offsets by her other non-mutated X chromosome. In other words, females can be carriers and not be colorblind or express the mutated gene. These chromosomes carry other traits not related to gender.
So what we just saw were 2 families with homozygous traits. Capital B signifies the absence of color blindness, which is dominant, and the lowercase b signifies color blindness, which is recessive. Now we will expand with the question of how many generations it would take to rid the gene pool of color blindness, and if it's possible within the same pool of genes.
So let's recap. We just experimented with mating homozygous traits of either containing no colorblindness or containing and expressing colorblindness. We saw 4 generations of interbreeding, so to say, and resulted with generation 5 being completely colorblind. In conclusion, based on these Punnett squares, we saw that if an individual mates with another individual containing the colorblindness trait and the generations after them do the same thing, eventually all of the offspring will end up colorblind. Colorblindness is a genetic disease. The different types of colorblindness depends on whether the trait will be autosomal dominant, which takes only 1 copy or a letter B to be colorblind, or autosomal recessive, which takes 2 copies or 2 letter Bs to be colorblind. We experimented with X-linked inheritance and saw autosomal recessive inheritance take place. There is currently no cure for colorblindness, but there is research being done through gene therapy to explore the possibility of targeting specific cells and re-trigger seeing in full color spectrum. Now, back to our original question. Can we rid our future generations' gene pool of colorblindness? Maybe if we kept introducing mates without colorblindness in our gene pool, we could. This could be the next question to answer.